trying to sell your house and you need to purchase a new house, and the purchase of the new house is contingent on the selling of your house. I know that sounds complicated. Just bear with me. Essentially, you are telling the seller of the house that you are trying to purchase that, hey, I've got to sell this house over here to be able to purchase your house over here. So I need you to be willing to take on that risk. Now, you can minimize that risk, and this goes for both sides, because sometimes a seller may think, oh my God, I don't want to take on somebody that I have to take on their risk also. But you can minimize that risk, and there's a couple of really good ways to do that from the buyer's perspective. Depending on the market, depending on how quickly houses are going, you have two options. You can either get your house completely ready to go onto the market, have your realtor or yourself, if you're doing it yourself, have your photographs done, have it clean and ready to go, have the landscaping done, anything that needs to be done for it to go onto the market, and you're just sitting on go. You're literally just waiting to hit the button so everybody else can see it. So that's option one, because at that point you can go find another house, get under contract, and then immediately be able to put yours on the market. The other side of that is you can go ahead and put your house on the market and then go looking for properties. Now, that one is a little more different, just because if you put your house on the market and you get an immediate offer and it's a really good offer and you want to accept it, but you haven't found something, now you're in the rat race, because as the seller of your home, you don't have a lot of outs, quote unquote, for the contract that you're under contract on with another buyer. So you end up, and you may have a great contract, but you may have to rent for a little while if you don't find what you're looking for, or, you may end up having to do a lease back, which is going to cost you more money typically than what your mortgage is. Sometimes they're done for free. I just had a contract like that. We got 2 offers that they're offering a free rent back for 30 days. So there's a couple of options there. Now, if you are from the listing perspective, you want to make sure that any offer you see with that contingency, that it's coming with the actual contingency contract portion, and that it has all of the information. Is the house listed? If it's not, when is it going to be listed? Who is it going to be listed for? How much are you listing it? You need the property address. That way your listing agent, or yourself, if you're doing it yourself, can go and look at this property. Where is it located? What school districts? Like physical location as far as what's around it. What are homes selling for around it? Are price points similar? Do they seem to be priced well? Have you seen the pictures of the property to know that it's not just in a good area, but that it's also a quality house that should sell relatively quickly, shouldn't have an issue selling? You want to know if the other agent has done their due diligence to ensure that what they are selling you on, that this house should go quickly, is what you're getting. So if you do that and everything looks good, most of the time you're not going to have a problem. I also know from the listing side, if the buyer's agent comes to you and says, hey, we have a contingent offer and we have a backup offer, that's even better. That's a pretty solid deal, because God forbid something happen, they have somebody else that's already jumping into play. So there's a lot of safeguards to this. Yes, things can fall out. Somebody without a contingency can fall out. I mean, that's just always an option. So you're taking on risk regardless. It's just a matter of what risk are you taking on and how can we mitigate that risk. Now, we did this. We had a house to sell, and we were in a area that I knew it would go quickly. I priced it aggressively on purpose. And we ended up with multiple offers. We ended up with a backup offer that was a signed, contracted backup offer, not just 2 offers. And they were like, oh yeah, let us know if something happens. Like, it was a signed, contracted backup offer through the financing appraisal, I believe, of the other. So it was like 22 days or something like that. And we were contingent on our house selling to purchase our new house. Now, we personally went the route of, we are going to find a house and put in an offer and then put our house on the market. We had everything sitting on go. We just needed to find our house. The problem was that we were very particular. So for us, that made the most sense. We had a very small window of options for what we were actually looking for in our price range, and so forth and so forth. So we knew that we needed to find our house first before putting ours on the market, because ours more than likely would sell pretty quickly. The other side of that too is how you negotiate that within a contract. I gave a contract to the seller of the house that we now own. I gave them a contract to the house we were buying with a 45-day closing, with the contingency contract stating that our house would go on market within 2 days of us being under contract on this house. So that allowed me the time to get my inspector in here, do his inspection, make sure we still wanted the house before putting my house on the market. So there's a lot of nuances to this, and you really, really, really need somebody who knows what they're doing to be able to negotiate that and tell you what's going to be in your best interest to try and have a competitive contract, even if you have a contingency to sell your house. But it's absolutely doable, and it's not always that big of a deal. If you watch my other video, you can see where I talk about why having a contingent offer is not always the worst thing, and sometimes it can be better. So if you have any questions about it, or if you are looking in one area and selling in another, let me know. One little other tidbit that I want to mention is it is really important for your listing agent to conversate with the buyer's agent, and your buyer's agent to conversate with the listing agent, so that everybody knows what's going on. Because if I tell you that this house should sell quickly, you should not take my word for that. Your agent should be saying, okay, but I want all these details, and I want to see the property, I want to see the listing photos, I want to see all these things, so that, because technically that buyer's agent or the listing agent probably has a lot of information. It's probably an area that you're not relatively working in regularly. So what ends up happening is they may know more, they may know about that particular market. For us, we moved 3 counties away. So technically, I didn't know about as much about the county that I moved to as I was leaving. So I was very easily able to give a lot of valuable information to the agent that had the listing that I wanted to buy, because I know that market like the back of my hand. I lived in it for 10 years. So I was able to provide a lot of valuable information that really made them comfortable accepting an offer that had that contingency. And that goes both ways, because the listing agent should also be asking that of the buyer's agent. I want this, because if I don't know that area very well, if they do, then they can look it up themselves. But if they don't know that area very well, then I need you to show me why you are saying this and why you feel that this is going to happen. Anything can always happen. But at the same time, having that reassurance and having it tangible on paper, factually, with data, is really, really, really important. So if you have any questions, or if you're more curious about something like this and how you can write really strong contracts, or have them written on your behalf, let me know. All my information's here. Be more than happy to help you and kind of go through what that process looks like and what things you can put into a contract that would make that offer a lot stronger if you are having that contingency, as well as if you're a seller and you're looking to take on a contract that has that contingency, what the benefits are, what pros, cons, what could eventually happen, what outcomes there could be, so that you know what you're getting into with a contract like that.